Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, Brandon here with another great business to discuss on this episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. Today's guest is Dominic, and he's selling his advertising, affiliate, Amazon Associates, and digital product business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. So welcome to the show, Dominic, and how are you doing today?
Hi, Brandon. I'm good. Thanks a lot for having me.
Yeah, it's really nice having you on the call today with us and to discuss your business that you've created here. But I'm just going to go into a quick summary. The business is an advertising, affiliate, Amazon Associates, and digital product in the health niche, and it was created in January 2014. The average monthly revenue for the business is $3,433 and makes an average of $3,289 per month in net profits. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 47298 to learn more about the business, or place a refundable deposit to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So now that I've given a general overview of the business, let's talk about the assets that are included with the sale. It's the domain and all site content and files, an email list with over 5,279 subscribers, the social media accounts associated with the business, including Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, and YouTube, and also a Facebook group account. So, Dominic, can you tell me a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Sure. So I actually have a degree in IT, and for about 5 or 6 years, I worked for an agency where I was doing some graphic design and web development work. And basically from there, I saw an opportunity for me to share some information that I was learning, and that's kind of how my website got started.
Okay. No, that's really awesome. And then where did you get the idea to go into this specific health niche? Was it something that, you were gained some knowledge during the time you were building up your other business portfolio?
Well, with this specifically, it's kind of self-serving in a way because I was getting a lot of questions about what I was doing from friends and family members. And rather than explain a bunch of things to them over and over again, I just kind of created like a repository with guides and recipes and stuff like that people could just easily reference. And eventually it just kind of kicked off from there.
Nice. Now, so then how does this business primarily make money then? I know you have several different monetizations for this asset. Now, one of them kind of leading the way as far as revenue is concerned?
Right. Definitely advertising, I would say, is the biggest source of revenue for me. And then I also have some additional things that bring in income, like affiliate programs, and I have a few actual products on my site.
Okay. Just for our listeners that are curious, which ad networks are bringing you in the most revenue for the business at this time?
The ad network that I'm in is called AdThrive.
Okay.
And that one has been definitely the best of those that I've been in.
Perfect. If the business is doing so well right now, Dominic, why is it that you've decided to go ahead and list this business for sale?
So for me, I really just don't have the time to put into it. I know that in the right hands that this could really be a good stepping point for someone that's really trying to break out into this industry. And also, this isn't my only job that I have. By selling this business, that also affords me the opportunity to expand my own business and then also pursue some things that I wouldn't otherwise have the ability to do so.
That's really great to hear that you have, other things in the pipeline that you're wanting to focus on as well. And, being able to pass this business off and have someone else really take it to the next level is always, a nice thing to do as well. Now, was there anything that you've learned while you were building and growing this business that you plan on applying to your future businesses?
Definitely, I would say one thing would be that content really is king. Definitely focus on putting out like high quality content that is really easy to read and easy to follow. And I think that even with, Google making algorithm changes and stuff like that all the time, having really good content has been crucial for maintaining like a certain level of revenue and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then another thing that I think that I'm going to really take away from this is there's definitely more than one way to monetize a site. And early on, I definitely didn't think that way. I thought that it was strictly advertising that was how you made money. But there are definitely other opportunities and ways that you can bring in income as well.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. Diversifying your monetization is something that we definitely strongly suggest when it comes to content sites as well that we have on our marketplace. Now, on the flip side of that, Dominic, was there anything that you might have tried with this business and it just didn't give you the ROI you were expecting?
Honestly, not really. Anything that I have implemented has been definitely worthwhile for building the business. I just really don't have the time and the passion that I kind of used to for this. So that's kind of where I'm at with that.
And then so now, where does the majority of your traffic come from then? Is it mostly coming from organic search, or are you running paid advertising on either Google or, even some of the other platforms?
Pretty much all of my traffic is organic from search engines. So that's always a plus. I don't have to pay for any marketing or anything like that, at least at this point. And then I also have some social networks that I've developed over the years. And I don't necessarily monetize those to their full potential, but I think that there's definitely some optimization that could be done there as well.
And then so, the subject of the marketing that you're doing for the business, what is it that you are doing as far as, marketing is concerned with, just the social media side, but also with your email list?
Currently at this time, I'm really not doing any sort of email marketing. I do have that pretty big newsletter list. But for now, I'm just pushing out new content. Whenever I make a new post, I'm not really doing anything else. So I think that's actually another opportunity to grow as a business as well.
Yeah, that's definitely, an opportunity a potential buyer could see if, being able to expand on monetizing the email list or even just, increasing the consistency of sending out new content to the email list as well as another low-hanging fruit. Now, I've noticed that you do also have a YouTube channel. Are you producing videos for YouTube, or is that strictly just more for your article promotion play on that specific platform?
So for right now, I do have a YouTube account set up, but I don't really produce any content specifically for it. Mm-hmm. I do have some videos on my site that are bringing in some ad revenue, and sometimes I will post those onto the YouTube page as well, just to kind of grow that following a little bit. But that's another social network that I really haven't dug too deeply in yet.
No, that makes sense. And then, hypothetically speaking, Dominic, if you were to keep this business, what are some of the ways that you would personally try and grow it?
Well, the first thing, like you said, definitely there's a lot of marketing opportunities for email. I definitely don't take advantage of that like I should. And if not sales, I know that there could be some things set up like automated emails, like stuff like that, just to keep things more fresh and connected. I think that I would definitely pursue more affiliate options. The ones that I do have, I really like them, but in this specific niche, there are a lot of opportunities, a lot of different payouts. It's really just about finding the ones that kind of align with where you want to go with it. I definitely would work on producing more content, and if not producing more content, I would say outsourcing to get more content on the site. I do try to keep the site updated somewhat, maybe 1 to 3 articles a month, or maybe I'll update a post or something like that. But I know that there are a lot of other sites out there that really benefit from having, during the week, having multiple times that they come out with new content, and just really like diversifying that. And I think one more that could really amp up the revenue would be to form some partnerships with companies. Like I mentioned, there are a lot of products and advertisers in this niche, and I really don't work with any of them on a personal level. I know that I could. So I think that's another opportunity for some revenue gain as well.
Okay. Definitely something that a potential buyer could take note of and, offer another opportunity for growth for the business as well. Now, as far as the digital product is concerned, is that something that you produced on a personal level, or was that another affiliate digital product that you've added into the business model?
So the digital product that I have is something that I created.
Okay.
It's actually a combination of some things I've written. So everything that is on my site at this point is written by me and created by me.
Perfect. That's really cool to hear that, you've, spent the time and put in the effort to really grow this and build it up from the ground up, on a personal level. So that's always good to see. Now, do you feel like, there's any specific type of skills or a skill set that a potential buyer should already have prior to acquiring this asset?
I think that in general, it's pretty low maintenance. You definitely would probably want to have some knowledge of the basic functionality of WordPress, especially if you're going to be posting new posts and adding new media and stuff like that. I don't think that there's a ton of other things to know, especially if you are going to outsource things. I think it really depends. I would say that possibly some knowledge in graphic design and basic SEO would be helpful just to keep articles looking somewhat professional and stuff like that.
And then now, Dominic, can you describe some of the typical work or the tasks that you're doing for the business currently on a weekly basis?
Sure. So a majority of my time, I would say, which isn't very much, I'd say it's like 3 or 4 hours a week, maybe 12 a month, thinking about and coming up with new topics to discuss or updating articles. I also do have a pretty large social following, so I do try to keep at least the 2 major networks updated somewhat regularly. And even that, it's not a ton of niche specific content. There's a lot of stuff that I share that's just, for laughs or just general, memes and stuff like that people tend to like. So I don't think it doesn't necessarily have to be like all this niche all the time.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to kind of keep your traffic and users engaged. It's always good throwing a few things here and there that are kind of, funny and, something that they also would like to share as well within their own social circles. So that's cool. Now, what do you feel maybe are some of the potential risks associated with this business then?
I think that the biggest one would be, so with advertising and having, posts that are at the top of the search engine, you're kind of at mercy of Google and all of their algorithm changes and stuff like that. But I will say that, through the years after all is said and done, I feel like I've maintained a pretty good standing and I feel like the business does grow. So I think that it does pretty well at faring with Google.
Oh, that's always good to hear. And then now, Dominic, so are you willing to commit to a non-compete? So meaning any future businesses you start that you'll stay out of this specific niche?
Yes, I will.
Perfect. And then how much support are you willing to offer potential buyers? Are you going with the typical 30 days of email and Skype support, or did you have something in addition you would like to add on to that?
I think that the 30 days pretty good. I would definitely be around for any questions about the site because it's something that I have designed customly myself. So I do have full control of the site. I can show the new buyer how to use it, how to update things and stuff like that. So I definitely think the 30 days, and then if there, just happens to be a one-off question or something, I'm definitely around to help with that.
Okay. No, that's always good to hear. And then, are you open to negotiating something like an earnout where you'll receive a large portion of the sales price up front and then maybe smaller payments over the course of a few months to finish it off after that?
I think it's a possibility.
Okay, that's good to hear. And now just a few more sideline questions, Dominic. Is there anyone who inspired you while you were building this business that our listeners might like as well?
I could name some websites and social media accounts that are similar. Did you want me to do that?
Yeah, or just, anyone that might have just inspired you, or maybe even a course that you might have taken that, kind of helped you while you were building the business and, something that you gained some insight from just being a part of.
I think a big part of that for me was my last job, honestly, whenever I was working for that agency. I just learned a lot of new things about, not only design and usability and stuff like that, but just, what all the working components actually go into something like this, like writing the content and, preparing featured images and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of it was things that I picked up on the job.
Okay. From personal experience and on the job training that kind of helped you to grow this particular business.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
And it's like, if I have that skill set, I should be able to put it to use. And I feel like I clearly have done that.
No, yeah, definitely. It's very cool. Now, what advice would you give to our listeners that you wish you knew when you first started this business?
I would say definitely put more focus on content that is reusable, more so than just new content that you would only view once. So, for example, if there's something like any that is coming up that would only happen, for a week out of the year, I probably wouldn't focus too much of my time on that. But if there is some resource that I could offer that would not only help people, but I could reference and point people into that direction in the future as well. I think that's a big selling point in content. Not really a selling point, but like a big focus, or at least that's where I learned a lot from that little concept right there.
Yeah, no, definitely. Having content that can always be repurposed later down the road and ultimately being evergreen content would, be a higher value than, like you had said, like a one-off, article or an event that only happens once a year. So that's solid advice. Now, was there any software tools or maybe even communities that really helped you at the start of running this business?
So software, I do come from a design background, so I'm very familiar with Photoshop and Illustrator and stuff like that. So that definitely helped. This was my first WordPress site officially, so I learned the basics of WordPress kind of quickly, but there is a lot of functionality there to learn and to grow, and there's always something new coming out. So I think that was pretty cool too.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then, so what was it that drove or maybe even motivated you while you were building and growing this business?
So I think the biggest thing was that, like I mentioned, it was kind of self-servicing because I was getting a ton of questions, not just from friends, but family members too, just asking me very specific things. And then rather than me having to explain them over and over and over again, I could just give somebody a link and be like, okay, here you go, use this, and I'm sure that'll help. And at that point, I'm like, okay, well, if I can help my friends and my family, I could pretty much help anybody that would be interested. And so that was kind of the main idea behind it. And it just kind of grew and very happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, no, it's great. And it's also more beneficial to have, a link online versus passing around the family cookbook, I guess you could say, from one family member to another. So that's really cool. Now, was there, anything that stood out to you about this specific business model that you think might be great for those who are interested in getting started in online business?
I think something really interesting about this business is that pretty much everything on the site is available it's free of charge. There's no price really to it, aside from the few products that I do offer. So I think that being able to kind of create something out of nothing and actually make money from it is really awesome. And, whether or not the next buyer does the same or they decide to monetize it, I just think that's a really cool concept that you can create something from nothing and then, make a living on it.
Yeah, definitely. That's something that's always stood out to me as well when it comes to content sites, is being able to write quality content, but then also being able to monetize it through advertising or, like you had mentioned, through your digital products and, affiliate links and things of that nature down the road is always something that's stood out to me in this business model as well. Now, Dominic, putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this business is worth buying?
I think it's worth buying because I feel as though the name that is associated with this, as well as just the website itself, I think people have come to trust the information I give. I feel like it's very no nonsense, but still to the point and insightful. And I think that's pretty important.
Yeah, no, definitely. Ultimately becoming an authority site within your niche is definitely an important task to have at the forefront of your efforts with growing the business. So that's always good to hear that you've done so up to this point with the business. And I'm sure any potential buyers that are listening in on this and see the opportunities that are available with this business can also see that as well. Now, was there anything else that you'd like to share, Dominic, that I might have missed in this call?
I think one thing that I would just kind of like to highlight a little bit is that I think for a potential buyer, this site, I think that it could be good for a few specific types of people. One, I think anyone that is possibly trying to have a breakout in this specific type of niche, I think that this might be a really good investment because there's already a really great foundation built. And coming into it, I think that really you can only go up. But, that's my opinion. Other than that, I think that some competitors, I think it would be worthwhile to look into this opportunity because aside from the money that it does generate, the revenue, there is a lot of opportunity to market, your own unique products. some of the newer affiliates, and stuff like that. So I think that there could be like a symbiotic relationship with another more developed site as well. But I guess that really depends on the buyer.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like you had mentioned, all of the things that you've just said, and plenty more options and opportunities for growth that a potential buyer can definitely capitalize on and push this business to the next level. So it's really great to see. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on the call today, Dominic. It was really nice talking to you about this business, and looking forward to seeing the future and getting this listing sold for you here in the near, few days or weeks coming up.
Sounds good. Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you so much. All right, everyone. Well, thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing is sold or to place a refundable deposit, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 47298. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. And by placing a refundable deposit, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.